There's evil afoot.
Queen Jenna is holding a dinner party and you have been invited. Kit told her how helpful you have been and she decided to thank you herself at the party. Unfortunately, Kit couldn't make it, so not only do you have to mingle with strangers, you have to mingle with high-class strangers. Upon entering Queen Jenna's manor, you recognize some familiar and some unfamiliar faces. Chester Crusoe is here chatting loudly with two strangers, as well as Salt and Pepper from the Char and Grill. Queen Jenna is here mingling with her crowd, as well as Countess Anise, never far from the Queen. Queen Jenna notices you looking around and gawking at all the fancy sculptures. She calls out as she walks up to you.
You made it! I'm so glad you came. I wanted to personally thank you for all the help you provided Kit on her travels. Here, I have something for you. My queen.
A woman's voice interrupts. Countess Anise walks up to Queen Jenna and whispers to her. Queen Jenna nods to Anise and smiles at you.
I'm very sorry, but I have some urgent matters I must attend to. In the meantime, please make yourself at home. Introduce yourself to the other guests. Kit told me how very talkative you are. I'm sure you'll fit in just fine.
With that, Queen Jenna and Countess Anise disappear into another room. A loud man's laughter draws your attention. Chester is still talking loudly, as if making sure everyone can hear him. You walk up to him, and he notices you.
Well, if it isn't my favorite person in the world. Come on over here. Let me introduce you to these lovely ladies.
When you reach him, he wraps one arm around your shoulders and pulls you in.
I was just telling the story of how I fought off a monstrous swamp creature so that Kit could safely escape. Anyway, this beautiful flower is Celeste. Nice to meet you.
Celeste says. You smile and nod. Chester continues.
And this lovely lady is Allona.
A pleasure, Allona says.
And this, my lovely ladies, is...
Chester is interrupted by a woman's scream. Everyone in the room turns towards the commotion. One of Queen Jenna's maids runs into the room.
Someone's been killed in the observatory,
The maid shouts. Everyone runs into the observatory to find a Silvari lying motionless on the floor. Countess Anise is bent over the body, inspecting it. Celeste and Allona push their way to the front. Countess Anise stands up and issues orders to some nearby soldiers.
Seal off all the exits. Nobody leaves this place until we find out what has happened here.
Anise orders. The soldiers salute and jolt off to carry out her commands. Anise says to Queen Jenna,
I don't have the manpower to carry out a proper investigation.
Ahem!
Someone loudly clears their throat. Anise turns to see Celeste wearing a strange plaid hat and holding a wooden pipe in her mouth.
My queen.
Celeste says.
I believe my assistant Allona and I can be of assistance.
Soap bubbles pop from the pipe. Where did you get those? Allona asks.
Don't worry about that now.
Celeste says, and then blows some bubbles from her pipe. Countess Anise sighs.
Fine, you can help. Find out what you can here while I get the queen to safety.
She escorts Queen Jenna to an adjacent room.
You can count on us!
Celeste shouts after her. Chester walks up to Celeste and Allona.
My friends, let me offer my aid. I cannot, in good conscience, allow this injustice to remain unsolved.
Celeste begins, but is cut off by Allona. Chester, why don't you go check the other rooms for clues? We have a body here, but there's no weapons nearby. Chester pounds his fist into his palm.
Aha! I will find the murder weapon, and we shall bring the ne'er-do-well to justice.
Chester leaves the room to begin his search. Allona pulls out a magnifying glass and examines the Silvari. Looks like blunt force trauma to the head. He went down quick, Allona remarks.
Where did you get that magnifying glass?
Celeste asks. Don't worry about that right now, Allona responds. We need information. Let's start questioning people.
Right.
Celeste agrees and points at you.
Starting with you. Where were you 2 hours ago?
Likely just walking to the party, Allona interjects.
Likely indeed. I've got my eye on you,
said Celeste. She narrows her eyes at you and blows some more bubbles from her pipe. You throw up your hands in defeat and find a place to sit down. It seems even Kit's friends are surrounded by bad luck. Celeste walks up to the maid who first found the Silvari.
So you found the body here. Why were you here by yourself? How do we know it wasn't you who killed him?
What?
She stumbles. Celeste, you're not helping. Go talk to someone else. Celeste blows some bubbles from her pipe and walks off. Allona walks up to the maid. What's your name? Did you see anyone else here when you found the body?
Poppins! My name is Mary Poppins. And no, nobody else was in the room. I came running as soon as I saw, I swear.
Do you recognize him at all? Allona asks.
No, I've never seen him in my life. He isn't any hired help either, I'm certain.
While Allona continues questioning Mary, Celeste speaks with Salt and Pepper.
So, Salt and Pepper, if those are your real names, where were you 2 hours ago, huh?
Celeste asks. Salt answers for both of them.
In the main hall, where everyone else was. Don't think to accuse us of killing this man. Neither of us have ever seen him before. If you're looking for someone to actually get answers from, why don't you talk to that man over there?
Salt points to a man standing by himself.
Is that Peter? Peter Freeze? I didn't even know he was at the party.
Nobody did, and he was here before everyone else ever arrived.
Celeste goes to Allona and tells her about Peter standing by himself. Together, they walk up to Peter.
So, Peter?
Celeste begins.
Yes?
Peter responds.
What do you think of all this?
It's tragic. An innocent man has been taken from us.
Allona chimes in. Where have you been this whole time? Nobody has seen you at the party, and I have other people saying you were here in this room before anyone else even arrived. Peter is interrupted by the sound of a door slamming. Chester walks into the room holding a large wrench.
I have found the murder weapon!
He holds the wrench up for all to see.
Now all we need to do is find our mystery murderer, and this man will be avenged!
Peter sighs.
It was me.
Everyone gasps.
He was being controlled by Mortermoth and snuck up on me while I was looking through the observatory telescope. At first I dismissed him as a hired help who'd lost his way, but then I noticed his eyes. They were glowing purple. He taunted me, said he smiled when Drupert died, and attacked me. I had no choice.
But why did you try to hide it?
Celeste asked.
I guess I was afraid. Everyone knows I'm already wary of Sylvari due to the influence of Mortermoth. Looking back on it, I suppose this doesn't help my case.
Wait a minute, Allona interjects. If this man was being controlled by Mordramoth, won't he turn into one of those creatures? Peter's eyes widened. He just now remembered what happens when those controlled by Mordramoth are left unattended for long.
I have an idea.
Celeste says.
We build him a funeral pyre. There's no reason we can't give him a proper farewell, as well as rid him of Mortermoth's influence, though we don't have any wood, but that's where the adventurer comes in.
You look up to see everyone staring directly at you. We need your help, adventurer. Can you get us some wood to create a pyre large enough for this poor Sylvari? Kit was very adamant about your resourcefulness. Adventurers! Celeste and Allona need some wood to build a funeral pyre for this poor, unfortunate Sylvari. 5 seasoned wood planks will be enough for them to be rid of Mordermoth's influence.